In this lecture, we are going to install Visual Studio Code, Node.js, and ASP.NET Core on our Mac OSX operating system. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click Download for OSX. Once I have that, it's going to download the zip file for Visual Studio Code. We'll wait for this to download. And once this finishes, let's click it. It's going to expand the zip file. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to double click Visual Studio Code. And once we do that, we click Open. Now we have Visual Studio Code installed on our Mac OS X. So let me exit out of this. Let me quit it and exit right here. And once we have set up Visual Studio Code and installed it on our Mac OS X, let's go to ASP.NET Core right here. This is for installing the DNX runtime and the .NET version manager. So it's similar to what we had in our Linux installation. I've already copied the command associated with curl. So I have it right here in my notepad. I'm going to copy this command and I'm going to take it into my terminal and I'm going to paste it. Once I do that, it's going to download, and it's already downloaded on my device, so I have it installed for the .NET version manager. And then what I'm going to type here is dnvm list. And you can see what is on this device. I have the CLR and the core CLR associated with this, and I also have mono on this device itself. So I've already installed mono and I have it set up. You'll notice here that the core CLR is associated with the Darwin default operating system. The architecture is 64-bit. Remember that these other installations may only work on a Windows device. But then what I can do is I can go up here and I can put DMV upgrade. So let's upgrade this to see if we're on the latest version. So give it a second. It's stating that we have the latest version of the DNX runtime on our device. So now that we have everything set up from that with the DMV list, we see all of our RC1 updates associated with that. The interesting thing is that it has the CLR and the core CLR for Windows operating systems, but our architecture that we've associated on this device is with mono. We can also just establish it with the core CLR. So another way we can implement this, we can go over here to mono. I already have this installed on my device. You click download, and then you can click download for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS X. You typically won't use it for Windows, but you can click download universal installer. The reason I downloaded before is you can see how large this is for the runtime. So this is why I installed it previously to this. So let me exit out of that. So I have mono installed. I have the core CLR and the CLR installed on this device. I'm going to exit out of this. And the last item that I'm going to implement here is Node.js. As you can see in this command that I put in this text file, this is just updating it for the core CLR. But in this case, you can upgrade all that's installed on this device. So let's go to Node.js. And at Node.js, the reason we're going to install Node.js, and I'm going to demonstrate how to install this on Linux and Windows. We will not have to use it in our Windows environment, but it's nice to have. We're going to build an ASP.NET Core application by installing Yeoman. Yeoman is a generator that will install our command prompt of yo ASP.NET, and it will scaffold out an ASP.NET Core application, whether you want a certain type of authentication built in by default, or you just want a plain old website, or if you just want a plain old web application associated. So it's a scaffolding command prompt associated with Node.js. So I'm going to install the stable latest version here with the latest features. I'm going to click that. And like I said, Node.js is very nice because it has a lot of commands built in for ASP.NET Core. You don't necessarily need Visual Studio 2015 now to scaffold and build. There are some commands built in Node.js. It works perfectly for Linux and Mac OS X. Let me click that. And now we have our Node.js being installed here. So it's saying user local. Let's continue. Accept the licensing agreement. I agree. Give it a second while it installs. We want to install this globally so all users can use Node.js. Click Install. For the default location, it's going to prompt you for your password on your device. And now Node.js was installed. It's installed globally, and make sure that the user local bin is in your path. So once we have that set up, we have Node.js, we have ASP.NET Core, and we have Visual Studio Code on our Mac OS X operating system. Now that our environment is set up on our Mac OS X, I'm going to demonstrate how to install Node.js on Windows and our virtual Linux device associated with Ubuntu Desktop. I want to thank you for joining me in this lecture. Have a nice day.